Hey guys, Kevin Smart for the originals, Season 3, Episode 2, You Hung the Moon. And obviously, I was looking forward to this episode. I mean, this is the originals, of course, I was looking forward to it. Last week's premiere was probably the best premiere the originals has ever done. I think it was amazing, and I was really hoping this episode would be great. And this episode was better than last week. I mean, this episode had so much going on. Already we have so much going on. There's so much action going on, a lot of drama going on. I mean, so much happened in this episode that I absolutely loved, and I can't wait to see how the rest of the season plays out, especially the ending. I don't really know what happened in the ending, but it's going to be very interesting, so let's just get into it. So, we start off with Elijah yelling for Hayley, and we get a lot more with Elijah, in this episode, because, you know, first episode Elijah was with, Freya for most of the episode. You know, he was looking through the woods with Freya, and in this episode, we see a lot more of Elijah, and it was really awesome to see. So he's yelling for Hayley with hope in his hands, and Jackson appears briefly wounded, which would make sense that Jackson's looking for Hayley as well, because, you know, that's his wife and everything, and asks where Hayley is, and it's something that Elijah probably didn't think of happening, and, Hayley is now going crazy, obviously, because, you know, Davina kidnapped her and everything. And she's even telling her that if she doesn't release her, she's gonna kill her. And Davina tells her to calm down so she can tell her how she plans on freeing her. And Hayley tells her to spill, and Davina tells her about the witch in the Ninth Ward who hates her. And Hayley eagerly tells Davina to let her know who she wants dead, because clearly she has some sort of agenda. And as we know, you know, Davina said, you can help me with something. So Hayley wants to know, what do you want me to help you with? Which, you know, that makes sense why she wants to know that. So Elijah fixes Jackson up, and when Elijah asks him to take some of his blood, he refuses, and Jackson then tells Elijah what happened and asks how many bodies were found, and he knows, of course, about the wolves, you know, being hunted down by the, being poached, basically, which I think is very interesting, I have to say. I really like that plot, definitely. And Elijah doesn't answer, but Jackson picks everything up from Elijah's reaction when Elijah tells him to stay and tend to the dead. You know, he's also talking about, of course, the serial killer that's out there, and Jackson declines and says that Hayley is his wife, and that obviously she wants to see him probably more than she wants to see Elijah. So, even though she had that great scene with Elijah in the finale, she is still married to Jackson. That's who she loves, and, you know, I'm someone that doesn't hate Jackson. I know a lot of people hate Jackson, but I've said it before, Elijah cannot be with Hayley right now. It's just, he has so much aggression going on that I don't want him to be with Hayley. I really don't. So, Marcel finds Freya at a club, and she admits that trying to get her brothers to talk is a daunting task. Obviously, she's the only person that's trying to make an effort at this point, but it's basically like beating a dead horse. It's just not going to happen. So, you know, it's really not working out for Freya. We get a lot more of Freya in this episode as well, which I like seeing. Because, you know, Freya's now a main character, so they gotta utilize her well, and they really do in this episode. So Cami's taking notes on the murders and searches for Lucien, which I pronounce his name wrong, it's not Lucien, it's Lucien. He is the CEO of Kingmaker Land Development, the same company that has killed all the wolves in the Bayou. So, again, you can definitely tell this is part of Lucian's plan to probably just make everything go to shit. I mean, he gave Klaus that warning, and I really feel that, you know, Lucian's the killer, you know, Lucian's that serial killer, and now he's also doing these things with the wolves. He probably is the serial killer, and Cami definitely is starting to put two and two together already. She definitely is. I don't feel this is going to be a storyline that lasts too long, because this is not a show that takes too long to reveal things, you know, reveal who the killer is. They're probably going to reveal in a few episodes. That's going to be Lucien, so I like seeing that. So Jackson then pays Klaus a visit, accompanied by Elijah, and obviously this is a very intense scene because obviously they want to know what's happened with Hayley, and Klaus tells Jackson and Elijah that Lucien gave him visions of the Michelson's family's demise, and when Klaus threatens Elijah and Jackson, Elijah tells him that he won't have to worry about hope being taken from him, because she will leave him when she finds out what kind of person he is. And I can understand what Elijah's saying, that, you know, Klaus is not really someone to emulate, even though he's doing all these things. But again, like I've said, Klaus is doing the right thing. He did all this stuff for his family. He did this to protect his family. This was part of a plan he had. They didn't want to listen to him, so that's why he did this. And I love seeing Elijah and Klaus meet up after, you know, all this time that they've been apart, of course, and you can just see how different they are and how much they don't even respect each other that much anymore. And basically, Hayley chops off a lock of hair, and Davina completes a cloaking spell so that she remains undetected. And Hayley has until the flames run out to kill Aurora, and she threatens Davina's life if anything goes wrong. So that's basically what she has to do. She wants to kill Aurora, which I think is definitely very interesting. So she's unable to, which would make sense because of course Klaus is in love with Aurora. Kill Aurora, that's really going to make Klaus upset because you can tell he probably still has feelings for Aurora. He probably does. I mean, we saw him last week. He definitely probably still has feelings for her. So Davina says if anything goes wrong, she's unable to see. She threatens Davina's life if anything goes wrong, and she's unable to see her daughter. Obviously, Hayley wants to get this done really quickly. She doesn't really want to help her out, but because of what Davina's doing, she's persistent, so she's like, whatever, let's just do this. So, by the way, we probably see Hayley, and Hayley's this season is probably the best we've ever seen Hayley, I have to say. I really loved Hayley in this episode. One of my favorite parts of the episode by far. So, Klaus demands to see Freya in a voicemail. I loved how he was talking to her. He's like, I know you don't know how modern technology works, but can you please leave me a voicemail? I thought that was pretty funny. So, a nice bit of humor in a very dark season. Cami walks in and she thinks that Lucien is the killer, and that makes sense, obviously. And Klaus thinks that there's familiar method to the killings, and I knew that Cami was probably going to say that because, you know, you can just tell that Lucien is probably the killer. And Cami says if Klaus wants to regain her trust, then he needs to make Lucien stop killing. Because obviously there's a reason Lucien is killing, and we don't know why, but there is a big reason why. And right then and there, Lucien is then basically snacking on a woman when he's greeted by Elijah. It's very Hannibal Lecter-esque. I'm definitely seeing some of that in Lucien, even though he's, either a vampire or werewolf, something like that. I think he's a hybrid. I'm pretty sure he's a hybrid. I don't know what he is exactly, but I'm definitely getting some cannibalistic vibes from him, which is really cool. Elijah is then bounded by a spell, so he cannot enter the penthouse. However, Lucien still humors him for a chat, and Elijah and Jackson are a team now. You can see that these two are basically teaming up, and I really like seeing that. I mean, those are two people that we never thought would rally together, because obviously Elijah's not very fond of Jackson. He always wanted to be with Hayley. Jackson got in the way, and now I like that they're actually teaming up. I think this is interesting. It just shows that, Elijah's, determined. How determined they both are to find Hayley. That's why they've teamed up. And Jackson attacks Lucien, bites him, and we all know what a bite from a hybrid can do to a vampire. And Elijah then says if Lucien wants to live, he should invite him in, and basically he's gonna force Lucien to get him to talk, because he's not gonna take no for an answer. And I love seeing this badass side of Elijah. It's something we haven't seen before. We've seen Elijah then in the, we saw like last year with the whole thing with Elijah, but that was mainly because of Esther. That was Esther that was doing that to him. This has nothing to do, with, necessarily with Elijah. That doesn't have to do with Elijah at all, really. It has to do mainly with what's going on with, with what's going on with with what's going on with Hayley. It has nothing, it had nothing to do with Elijah. That was all because of Hester. This is completely just Elijah going batshit crazy, which I love seeing, because he's obviously determined to find Hayley, and will do whatever it takes to find her, and I love seeing that. So, Cami is visited by the detective, and when Freya walks in with a stranger to hook up with, Klaus hilariously surprises her. In the prospect, he scares the man off and asks Freya to perform a low-care spell for Hayley. I like that there was some humor in this episode, because, again, this is a very dark season, and some people might not want as dark as a season, so I like that we do have some humor in there just to have something in there to enjoy, and I like seeing that. But, basically, Cami's visited by a detective. When Freya walks in with a stranger to hook up with, Klaus hilariously surprises her, and I definitely thought that was funny. I like seeing that. Definitely, I like that. So, like I said, sorry, guys, I lost my place in this recap. But basically he says that he asked Freya to perform a locator spell for Hayley, because of course they can't find her, but she's cloaked right now, so they're obviously not going to find her because Davina cloaked her, and Hope is the best connection to Hayley, so Freya has to use her to complete the spell, because obviously where Hope is, that's where Hayley is. Hayley's main goal is, of course, to get back to her daughter, obviously. So the detective seems smitten with Cami, and he realizes that she comes from a very dark family of strange deaths, and of course we know that. And he wasn't being nicer. He's accusing her of being part of the murders or a larger cover-up for something else, which I do understand where he's coming from. Obviously, Cami's not the killer. We know right now Cami's not the killer, but I do understand his point. You know, a lot of people try to emulate their families and are influenced by their families. I can totally understand that. So Cami checks her bag, notices that something is missing, and she doesn't know why it's missing. So I thought that was definitely very interesting. Freya tries to find Hayley, but is unable to do so because of Davina's cloaking spell, and Hayley's making her way to the Ninth Ward to find Aurora and eliminate her, because of course that's her mission, and Jackson doesn't want to believe that Hayley's dead. He wants to believe that she's out there, and, you know, Elijah's saying, oh, you know, she might be dead, because again, he saw those wolves last week, and any single one of those could be Hayley, and Davina's having trouble holding up the spell. The full moon is wearing off, and Jackson and Hayley begin to turn, and obviously that's not going to work out well. So Davina manages to convince the ancestors that Hayley can help, and Klaus, and the spell continues. And basically, that's what she plans on doing. She plans on using Hayley against Klaus. So, however, after Hayley does the deed, she's cornered by a group of witches who are attacking her, and it's a pretty crazy scene, just seeing them attack her like that. So Elijah tells Lucian that he needs Klaus's blood to survive the wound, and Lucian says that he and the other sidelines are on the brink of war, and when Elijah tells Lucian that the original family cannot die, Lucian asks him to talk to his brother about the prophecy that proves that they are not immune to death, and Davina then stops her spell, and Marcel comes to greet her to tell Davina that there is a problem. The problem is that Hayley managed to kill all the witches, and the rest of the Coven is grieving. So Hayley just went batshit crazy, killing all these witches, mainly because she just had a rage, and she's tired of what Klaus was doing, that she killed all of them. So now, not only does Davina have a Coven that doesn't really respect her, most of the Coven is now dead. So, you know, this is a good thing and a bad thing for Davina, because a lot of them didn't respect her, but now they're all going to be grieving, and she doesn't know how to handle that either. Like I said, I really like seeing Davina be thrown to this position of authority and have to basically do some things that she hasn't really had to do. She's never been this powerful before. She's been this powerful all along, but she's never really had to use as much power as she has, as much force as she has, and I don't know if this is going to work out well for Davina. I can already tell that she is very overwhelmed by what's going on, which is understandable. There's a lot that she's being asked to do, and it's very hard for her to do it all. So I understand that. So, when Elijah tells Lucian that the original family cannot die, which is true, I mean, the only way to do that is to kill Klaus. She killed Klaus, she killed everyone. I've said this before. I've said this a million times, guys. I don't need to go over that again. But Lucian asks him to talk to his brother about the prophecy that proves that they are not immune to death, because apparently there's a way that they're not. So, Lucian clearly knows something that they don't, and I think that definitely is very interesting. So Davina stops her spell, and Marcel comes to greet her to tell Davina that there is a problem. Oh, I just read this. But basically, Klaus confronts Lucian about being the culprits for the deaths of the city, and Klaus wants to exchange his blood for new peace and an end to the killing, and Klaus threatens Lucian once again, but he doesn't seem very worried. He doesn't think that Lucian is a problem, because he doesn't see Lucian as a killer, because, you know, Lucian is the first person that was straight up with Klaus, and I can totally understand that. Klaus has not really had anyone on his side. Freya's kind of on his side. All Freya's trying to do is just get the family back together. That's what Freya's trying to do here. I don't really think she's on anyone's side. That's the thing. Freya, I can't really say, is she on Klaus or Elijah's side? She's on both of their sides. And I think Freya's playing both sides essentially to just get these two back together. That's really what she's trying to do here. So, because, you know, you get Klaus and Elijah back, you can get the whole family back. Because obviously she wants them to get back to the place they were, and obviously that's what she wants to do. So Hayley and Jackson are free, and when Freya tries to figure out what's keeping Jackson alive, Hayley shows up, takes out Freya, and asks, where the hell is that bastard? And obviously Hayley wants to go after Klaus, and this is when the episode just got insane. I absolutely loved what happened after the scene. This was incredible, I have to say, because they go back and forth on which one of them made the wrong move, and Klaus takes a beating from an emotional Hayley because he knows that part of what she's saying is true, and I love how Klaus is not fighting her. He knows she's telling the truth. He knows that he did this to her, and he knows that he should be, you know, at fault for this. He understands that, and also because Hope saw her mother and father fighting, and it's such a powerful scene. Just Hayley's beating on him, she's pissed at him, and it's just, we've never seen Hayley this full of this much rage, and I love seeing that, honestly. Hayley is a mama bear. I've said this before. Hayley's a mama bear. She's willing to do whatever she can to protect her child. She's not going to let someone take control. And obviously, she's pissed at Klaus because of what he did to her. I mean, was trapped in that wolf body, and now she's not, but she was trapped in it, and obviously, I knew she would go after Klaus, and that was incredible to see, especially because we're already in episode 2. I just love how fast things are moving, because, you know, I like that we didn't spend a whole lot of time on that, because I think we spent enough time on it even last season. So they then see that because Hope and her mother saw her fighting, Hayley notices that Hope started walking, and it's this incredible scene. I really loved how this scene went from really intense to actually really emotional, because you can see how Hayley's realizing how much she missed, and she's so upset about it. Phoebe Tonkin really sold it in this scene. Phoebe Tonkin is a great actress, I've said it before, but especially this episode, one of Hayley's best by far. Maybe Hayley's best episode, honestly. She was incredible here. She makes her way over to her baby, and she's completely emotional because she missed that's something that a mother vows to see. She wants to see her child's first footsteps, and she missed it. And obviously, she's not only pissed at Klaus, but she's really upset because that's something that she obviously really wanted to see, and something that really mattered to her, and she didn't get to see it. And I just felt so bad for Hayley in that scene. It was so sad. No one should have to go through that, and that was definitely very sad to see that. So while Elijah Jackson, Freya, and Klaus look on, and again, I like how Klaus didn't try to attack her here because he knew that she was right and he needed her to get out that rage. It just shows how good of a person Klaus is. Klaus is not a bad person by any means. He'll do some things and cross some lines sometimes, but again, he's doing them for a reason. He doesn't just do things for no reason. He does things because he wants to protect his family, and even though it's kind of split his family apart, he's still protected his family. So Hayley and Klaus battle over where she will stay because, you know, now she doesn't know where to go. And Elijah's suggesting that Hayley and Jackson stay across the street in the apartment, and I think that was a good idea because, you know, they're married and they should stay there, and Hayley should get to be with Jackson. But Klaus has lost the care of, you know, so that Klaus isn't invited in, because obviously Elijah wants nothing to do with Klaus. You can just tell this entire episode he wants nothing to do with Klaus. And Klaus has lost the care of his daughter to Hayley, who's back and taking charge. And what is the one thing that Klaus wanted all last season? He just wanted a place in his daughter's life, and now he's lost that. So not only has Klaus lost the trust of his brother, the trust of someone that, you know, he's kind of been on, you know, Hayley's someone that is probably one person that he doesn't really know who he is with her. He is the father of her child, but other than that, he doesn't really know who he is. Not only has he lost Elijah, he's lost Cami. I mean, not really Cami, sort of has lost Cami. He's lost Marcel. He's lost Davina. Davina, has always been against him. That's nothing new. The only person he has is Lucien. That's the only person he has, and that's understandable why Klaus doesn't think that Lucien is a bad person. And Freya too, but again, like I said, she's pretty much neutral right now. So it's such a sad scene because Klaus is losing pretty much everything at this point, and Hayley's taking charge, and of course that's just because they don't trust Klaus at all right now, which again is understandable, but it's really sad to watch. So Marcel asks Davina to tell him that she did not have anything to do with dead witches, and Marcel tells Davina that she won't get the best of Klaus by becoming him, which is true. That's what she's essentially doing. She's gonna become like Klaus because of how powerful she is, and she tells him she was born with blood on her hands, and that he's not supposed to be in the cemetery. And though she puts up a big fight, she breaks down when she's all alone, and it's a really sad scene. I definitely felt bad for Davina in this scene, just because she's all alone right now. She has no one. She has all this power, and she doesn't know how to handle it, especially Vincent. Vincent has not done anything for her. We didn't even see Vincent in this episode. He does not give two shits about her. You can just tell, and I think he does want to help her. As we know, his magic is dying. He is not as powerful as he is anymore, and he doesn't really know how to help her, which is sad, but this is really going to end things badly for Davina. I honestly could see Davina dying this season. I know they're probably killing off someone this season. You can just tell where we're going. That's probably where we're going. And Davina, I think, is the person they're killing off. I mean, she is so powerful and has so much power, but everyone is against her, and she's doing all these things, and it's all coming at her so fast. She doesn't know what to do. She's never had to do something like this before, and I feel so bad for her, but at the same time, she has to face what she's doing, and she doesn't know how to. I mean, it's such a complex thing for Davina to go through. She's never really had to do something like this before, and it's pretty crazy that Davina is doing this, definitely. So Hopefully things that work out well for Davina, but at this point, I feel really bad for her, definitely. But Elijah walks in on Hayley as she revisits her dirty deed, and Hayley thanks Elijah for what he did to find her and keep the peace. And I like how at least Hayley and Elijah are on good terms. You know, it seemed like she wasn't on good terms with anyone, but she is with Elijah because she has no reason to be mad at Elijah. Elijah's tried to help her ever since she got trapped in that wolf body. He has tried to help her, and Elijah tells her that he only thought of her and he fought for her return every day. He tells her she was not forgotten, and they seem to be in this really weird place. You know, you can see that he clearly still has feelings for her. I mean, I don't think they ever went away. You can tell that Elijah still really loves Hayley. I mean, they almost got together last season, but again, it didn't work out because he can never be with her. And honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if these two never get together. I kind of feel like that's where we're going, that Hayley and Elijah will never be together because he just can't be with her. And it's really sad, but it's true. I think Hayley's safer with Jackson. And that's why she's with Jackson, because not only is she safer with Jackson, she's married to Jackson, and she can't get out of that. And I don't think Hayley has the same feelings for Elijah that he does for her, and it's really sad, but that's how it's going. So, Davina is present at a burial of the fallen witches, and the rest of the witches of the Ninth Ward. Her son approaches Davina and basically threatens to erase her once he gets down to the bottom of his mother's death. So, he's pissed at her. He's thinking that she had something to do with this, and of course she didn't, and you can already tell that, you know, the people that are left, they are definitely against her, and she's not going to be able to basically do anything. You know, if she wants to go after Klaus, this is not going to work out well at all when she has all these people against her. And it's not something that Davina ever wanted to happen, but again, it's just something that's happened, and I feel really bad for Davina, but that's essentially what's happened, and she's stuck here, so I really felt bad for her here. So Hayley, Hope, and Jackson get settled into their new place, and Hayley tells Jackson that she missed him. She presents him with their rings that were found in the junkyard, and the two of them seem to be together now. They're completely together, and I like seeing that. Honestly, I do like Hayley and Jackson. It's sad that, you know, Elijah can't be with her. But what's even sadder is when Klaus can see Hayley Jackson from his room, and he's so angry that she took Hope from him. She's pissed off by what happened. He smashes a glass, and I don't think he's just upset about Hope. It's just another thing to add to all the things that, you know, everyone's pretty much turned against him at this point. Everyone is against Klaus. Nobody wants anything to do with him. Cami's like his therapist. That's the only reason she stayed near him. Freya's just trying to get the two back together. I don't even think she very much trusts Klaus right now. She's just trying to keep the family together because, you know, she's just come back, and, you know, she wants them to trust her, so she wants to keep the family back together, and obviously, it's not working out. So, I felt so bad for Klaus. The scene definitely was very sad, and I really hope that things get better. I don't think it's going to get better just because we know that something bad is coming, but I don't think things are going to get better for Klaus at all. So, the detective was looking for Cami, and again, he approaches her about her research on Lucien, and he tells her that she might have been mixed up in something much bigger. So, there's definitely something more going on here, because the deaths have gone more mainstream as the reporter who leaked the photos and story is under the control of Lucien. So what I'm thinking is that Lucien is the killer but doesn't want anyone to admit it because he's going to kill them. So obviously Lucien is on this killing spree right now, and we don't exactly know what he's trying to do. I don't know if he's trying to frame Cami for this, or if he's trying to frame someone, but Lucien definitely has a plan that we don't know about yet, and I'm definitely interested in seeing what's going on with that, because I have no idea what's going on with Lucien, and I love that. I don't want to know what's going on with him yet, because it's too early in the season. I like that they're keeping this mystery of what the hell is going on with Lucien, because I really like that. So Elijah talks to Freya about unsettling information, and he says that he trusts her, and asks her, but again, Freya trusts Klaus as well. She's playing both sides, and he says he trusts her, and asks her to help them find the weapon that can kill the originals, and Freya does a spell, gets a little out of control. She realizes that it's true, that Rebekah, Elijah, and Klaus will fall by friend, foe, and family, and that Lucien was right by that, and they're all gonna fall, and it's crazy. We don't know why this is happening, but it's gonna happen. And I'm thinking that's because of Aurora. What we get in this final scene is truly incredible. We don't know what's happening in this scene, but I absolutely loved it because it basically just tells us that something very bad is going on that we don't know about, and I love that. So we see Aurora, she's training with her brother Tristan. She begs him to let her out, but he declines and tells her not in her current state. He even tells her that he's leaving her. So clearly something's going on with Aurora, and it's pretty clear that there's something going. He basically stabs her in the neck to weaken her, and it's pretty clear that something bad is happening to Aurora. We don't know what's happening to her, but she's very powerful. There's something going on. I feel like she has some sort of connection to Lucien. I don't know what it is, but clearly even her brother, just the fact that her brother doesn't trust her can tell us right away that something bad is going on with Aurora. We don't know what it is, and I don't want to know what it is yet because I like they're keeping this mystery, but that's basically how the episode ends, and I thought that was an incredible ending, and what an incredible episode. Honestly, guys, this episode was just amazing. I loved every minute of this episode, but I really do want to talk about a lot of things that are going on here, because, let's face it, there's a million things going on in this show right now. I guess I'll first talk about this whole killer situation. What is Lucien trying to do? I'm not really sure. As we know, the detective thinks that there's something going on with Cami, and that Cami, I don't know if she's, if Lucian's trying to target her, which would make sense, because that would make Klaus fall. If Cami dies, she's the only person in the show that's human. If she dies, she's dead, unless Klaus sires her, which, like I said, I could see happening, but that would definitely make Klaus fall, and I feel like Lucian's plan is basically to destroy the Originals family. I think that's what he's really trying to do here. Again, we don't fully know, but from what he's doing and everything we've seen, it seems like that's what he's trying to do, and he's clearly trying to hold these reporters hostage and not make them think that he, not actually say that he's the killer. They know he's the killer, but he's not going to let them do that. So basically, he's going to make them do what's called yellow journalism, and what's yellow journalism, if you guys don't know, thank you to my history class, which I just found out what that term is a few weeks ago. But yellow journalism is essentially when you exaggerate what's going on and that you don't tell the full details, and that's exactly what Lucien is going to do. He's going to have them lie and basically say, oh, this is actually what's going on, when that's not true, and I really like seeing that. Lucien is so powerful. However, Davina's power is what's going to kill her. I can't wait to see what's going on with Davina. I mean, she is probably in the worst position. I mean, everyone's pretty much in the worst position. The only person that's in a good position is Elijah and Hayley. Those are the only two people I see in a good position. And maybe Marcel. Nothing's really going on with Marcel that's bad at this point. Marcel is pretty much just sticking by Davina. That's really all there is to it. But Davina and Klaus are in the worst position they've ever been in. Do I think Davina's becoming like Klaus? Yeah, because she's disliked by everyone. And she's going to end up turning everyone against her in that coven. And it's not her fault, but because this one event that's happened, Hayley has essentially screwed her over. And again, you can't really blame Hayley. She had a big rage and she needed to take it out on someone, so you can't really blame her. But at the same time, she's now got screwed over by Hayley. So obviously Davina has this problem now, and we're going to have to see what's going to happen there. But it seems like everyone's going to turn against her, and I wouldn't be surprised if the Coven ends up killing Davina and sacrificing her. I would not be surprised if that happens. Hayley, obviously, I understand where Hayley's coming from. I get that she does not want her daughter near Klaus because of how dangerous he is. And plus, Elijah suggests that to her. I understand that. But, I mean, this is all that Klaus has won. Obviously, he's going to go after Hayley. He's really pissed her for doing this. We'll have to see what's going on there. Does Elijah still have feelings for Hayley? I'm not really sure. We'll have to see. I think he does have feelings for her, but he knows that her and Jackson are just, she's safer with Jackson, that he can't stop them from being together. They're together. He loves her. She loves him, so let them be happy. I don't see anything wrong with this marriage. I've never seen anything wrong with Hayley and Jackson, honestly, and that's why I don't think that Hayley and Elijah will ever be together, because there's nothing particularly wrong with Hayley and Jackson. They both love each other, and yeah, she married him because she was forced to, essentially, but she's now fallen in love with him, so there's nothing really Elijah can do about that. Now, I really want to talk about what's going on with Klaus and Lucien. Of course, the only person that Klaus trusts at this point is Lucien. Freya, he does kind of trust, but again, Freya's playing both sides, and I don't really know if Freya's plan is going to work. I think Freya just realized that her plan is dead. There's no way she's going to get these two back together, because obviously, not just Klaus and Elijah, but Rebekah's going to fall as well. Rebekah's not even there right now, so what's going to happen to Rebekah? I have no idea, but somehow, something's going on with Rebekah, and we're going to have to see what happens with that, because I have no idea what's going to happen to Rebekah. Rebekah is yet to be in this season, and we'll have to see what happens with that, because that definitely is something that I am very interested in, is where the hell Rebekah fits into all this, because we haven't seen Rebekah all season long, yet at least. I know it's only been 2 episodes, but we haven't seen her yet, and definitely something is coming for Rebekah, and we don't know what that is either. Aurora, what is going on with Aurora and Tristan? The fact that her brother doesn't trust her concerns me, definitely. Something is going on with her. We don't know what it is. She's obviously extremely powerful, and I really feel this has to do with Klaus. Obviously, Klaus is in love with her. He probably still has feelings for her, even though he loves Cami and really loves, wants to be with Cami. He still, I think Aurora, he still might have feelings for her, so we'll have to see what's going on with that, and that's going to be very interesting as well, what's going on with Aurora, because we really don't know what the hell's going on with her at all, honestly. We don't know what's going on with Aurora, at all at this point. We'll have to see what happens with Aurora, but that definitely is going to be very interesting. What was stolen from Cammy's bag? We still don't know what was stolen from her, and it's going to be interesting to see what's going on. All we know is that the reporter thinks that she's mixed up in something bigger, and that's something that's very interesting. I like the investigation added to this season. That's something that we've never had in the originals. We've never had a legit crime investigation, which I really like seeing. It's nothing I ever thought the originals would do, but it's working really well. Not just because American Horror Story Hotel is handling it horribly. Honestly, yes, guys, I watched last night's episode. I started watching it. I turned it off. I hate it. I'm sorry, guys. I hate it. Don't even ask me about it. I hate it. But I think the show is doing it very, very well. Just the way they're taking their time with the storyline. They're not telling us too much. I really like that. Even though we know that Lucien is the killer, we know that he's holding these people hostage, we still don't fully know what his plan is, and I like that. I like that we don't fully know what's going on with Lucien. Now, it looks like next week we're going to get introduced to the first vampire ever sired, which I think is going to be very interesting to see what happens with that. And that's going to be interesting to see where that goes. And I guess that's going to give Marcel a plot line this season, which again, he does sort of have a plot line with Davina, but he doesn't really have his own individual plot line. So we'll have to see where that goes. We didn't see Vincent in this episode, like I said. I don't know if we're going to be, I guess Vincent just doesn't really want to be around Hayley, so let's see what's going on there. Nothing about the fight club that Marcel and Elijah have started either, but that's because Elijah was so busy finding Hayley, obviously, and I like, again, seeing that rage that Elijah has. Very well done. But overall, guys, absolutely loved this episode. Thought this was another amazing episode. This show is just fantastic. It's off to an amazing start. They're definitely on a roll. I mean, they have been on a roll since season 2. I mean, honestly, they have yet to have a horrible episode. They've only had one bad episode ever in this show. And the bad episode in the show was in season 1, Moon Over Bourbon Street, but that wasn't even a bad episode. It just wasn't the best episode of the originals ever, and it was pretty filler, but that's very rare for that to happen, and I think this season's going to be amazing. I absolutely love where it's going. But let me know what you guys saw this episode. This was another amazing episode, and I will see you guys in my next video, which will be for a movie review, and I will see you guys for that. Okay, bye.